Hello Hornby fans and welcome to the first signal box of 2021. Now we hope under the circumstances you got a chance to celebrate the festive season, but it's on to 2021 and we start the year as we always do with the Hornby range launch. By now I'm sure you'd have had a chance to look through the website and see all the latest models, but if you haven't already, don't feel bad about opening up another window just next to this one and having a browse through while this episode's going on. I won't be offended, so please do open another window and have a look. Obviously our 2021 catalogue is available now in all its glory with the Evening Star on the front cover. You can order the Hornby catalogue right now and read all about the latest Hornby models, or you could just conveniently leave it lying around open on a particular page just in case someone wants to buy you a gift. Well, we've got lots to get through, so let's get started. Here's what's coming up in this range launch episode. Simon runs down some of the latest editions of the 2021 range for you. We get our hands on the first samples of 2021 with a closer look at the latest addition to the Hornby Dublo range, as well as the newest Coca-Cola train set. And I pick out the models I'm looking forward to the most this year. I'm Mike, it's Hornby range launch, and welcome to Signal Box. There are some great new additions to this year's range, from new Coca-Cola and Beatles models to newly tooled P2s. There's a whole host of different locomotives and rolling stock. Simon and Montana were kind enough to take us around the Hornby showroom to give us some more insight into the 2021 range. Take it away, guys.
Over the last few years, we have been researching and planning on ways that we can introduce Hornby to a younger audience. In the most recent years, we've had the Hornby Junior set as part of the range, which has served a purpose. However, we're now looking to start a new journey with something brand new and exciting for children. Something that allows them to step into the world of Hornby and begin a new adventure. So without further ado, we are excited to announce and share with you Playtrains. So here we have the Playtrains range, new for 2021. This range of products is targeted at children, the market that we are currently missing out on. So here you can see we have a whole range of products. We've got a train set, we've got locomotives, we've got extra rolling stock, and we've got track packs. These products have various different benefits and features, including multiple sounds, working lights. It can go forwards and backwards at various speeds. The track is easy to clip together, and most importantly, it's all run on a remote control system. So it's easy for kids to use, it's interactive. More than one child can play with it at the same time, with the controller that you've got in the set and the controller that can be bought separately as well. Playtrains is going to have a really strong digital presence. One thing that we really want to do with this range is for kids to be excited, have fun and interact with the products. They're not just toy trains, as you can see they are characters. We've got Flash, we've got Thunder and we've got Bolt. These are trains that have stories to tell. The character stories are going to be available via the website on the Playtrains portal, as well as downloadable buildings and features, activity sheets, videos and so much more. So keep a lookout on the Hornby website for stories from Thunder, Bolt and Flash.
Thank you, Montana. That's really good, and I think we really have an absolute winner here. So thank you for all the effort and the time you put into making this product really what it is. So thank you. Now, moving on to the main Hornby set range, I'll introduce you to the Valley Drifter. Now, the Valley Drifter is our classic entry set. It's a basic oval of track, includes a track mat, of course, but with a little 040 loco and a couple of pieces of rolling stock. The track mat is important because it introduces the purchaser to the world of model railways with the addition of extra track packs, so you can build up a full scenic layout. But the key set for this year is the iTraveller 6000. We launched in 2020 the HM6000 app. Now, what this means is that you can control up to 2 locomotives with one of these app units. Now, you can control it using your mobile phone or a tablet, suitable tablet. With this set, this is a brilliant introduction into that simple but effective control. Again, with all our sets, it does feature a track mat and an oval of track with siding. So it takes you to the first step of moving on to filling the track mat up with a complete layout. So if we look at the items you get actually in the set, other than the HM6000 unit, you have a charming little 040 diesel shunter, 3 wagons, an oval of track with siding, and obviously it's complete with a MIDI mat. So you can expand that basic oval with siding to other larger circuits and actually complete the MIDI mat using the various extension packs that are part of the Hornby range. Really exciting. It doesn't stop there. You can actually use that and build up a really enormous layout. But it is, you know, this is really 21st century stuff. This is, you know, using a mobile phone to control your trains. Also included in that app is the new track planner, which will allow you really to build a massive layout, and it will present you with the contents list that you would need to build your dream layout, to be honest. I'd like to start talking to you about the new Hornby train packs for 2021. We start with the West Coast Avanti, and they have very striking Pride Pendolino, which they launched, I believe it was the summer of 20. A little bit challenging for our decoration people, but perhaps a little bit easier than we had with the Yellow Submarines. Keeping on the Pride and the inclusive theme, we have the Trainbow GWR 800, and below, and this is where in the summer the LNER ran their last HST, and they ran it in the original blue and yellow livery. So we have a HST pack there. Below it we have the rather simple GWR HST, which was paired up with the Wavy Line coaches, and we'll come on to those a little bit later. We have a Terrier pack with 3 4-wheel coaches, GWR livery. So one of the star lines we introduced in 2020 was Stephenson's Rocket. Now a lot of people have assumed, and probably rightly so, that really that was the Stephenson's Rocket and the 3 first-class coaches. Well, that's not strictly correct. Stephenson's Rocket was used to haul other rolling stock, and in the late summer, you may remember, we launched the 3rd class coach, or carriage is the correct term. but it also was used to pull other coaches. And the one thing we didn't show you was the Royal Mail coach. So the third pack will include a first class coach, Treasurer, one of the named coaches we've not used before, third class carriage, and the Royal Mail coach with suitable guard perched on the back. Underneath that, and part of the Stephenson's Rocket collection, will be a pack of 3 flat top wagons and a pack of 3 third class carriages. So very exciting. We're taking on another level, a little bit further, yeah, I think the whole range, going from the Pride right the way through to really the birth of steam and rail travel. Now, before I move totally away from the train packs, I think over the years I do get lots of suggestions of what locos we should produce, etc. But I do not think I've had so many suggestions for the next train pack than we have here, and that is the new Midland Pullman. Now, this is part of the one-to-one collection. Now, that doesn't mean you'll be seeing it parked up in the shed next door. This is the new Pullman service that will be running as a charter train, and we'll introduce the actual drive units in the Nankin blue livery of the Midland Pullman, as well as the full rake of coaches, which will be available separately. But I think this is a really exciting train pack come train, yeah, I think this will be very popular. So moving from the train packs to the individual locomotives, and start with the re-liveries and the return of some old favourites. So we have here 2 new liveried 6-wheel Peckets, and then the popular, we have 3 variations on the new Terrier, the Kent and East Sussex Railway, and then we have the British Railway Terrier with the Sunshine typeface, and then an early BR version of Terrier as well. All very, very popular, always have been. And you know, people do love to collect these. A couple of Prairies and 2 MTs, late BR, and we have a late BR in green as well. Popular and brought back by popular demand are 2 Clans, which hasn't been available for probably best part of 10 years. So we can foresee big demands for those 2. And then we have a Battle of Britain. This is Sir Winston Churchill. This is part of the National Collection, hence the Branding Railway Museum. And then we have a new Merchant Navy in early BR. This is Belgium Marine. And then 2 LMS Princesses, Princess Victoria and Princess Margaret Rose. Now, Princess Margaret Rose is one of the princesses that has been preserved, and the accuracy of these models is really without question, and have proved to be very popular.
We're hitting the ground running here at Signalbox as we got our hands on 2 2021 samples, the Coca-Cola Summertime train set and one of the newest additions to the Hornby Dublo range. The Coca-Cola Christmas train set was one of our most popular sets in 2020, and many people have asked when we'll be doing more. Cue the Coca-Cola Summertime train set. This set includes all the essentials to begin your model railway journey, including controller, track, and of course the locomotive itself. A small 040 locomotive in red with the Coca-Cola branding. Alongside this we have 3 branded Coca-Cola containers including Diet Coke and Cherry Coke, and finally a tank wagon with Diet Coke branding. A great train set for anyone who wants to build on their Coca-Cola collections or for anyone just starting out. Next is one of the latest additions to the Hornby Dublo range. The Duchess of Atholl was hugely popular in 2020 and helped to reignite the Hornby Dublo brand. We could have left it there, but we wanted to push it even further, so that's why we're introducing 3 new Hornby Dublo models. BR Princess Coronation class City of Leicester and 2 original built Merchant Navy class locomotives, Elder Fyffes in BR Maglight and BR Green General Steam Navigation. These new locomotives carry on the great tradition of Hornby Dublo, with each locomotive being produced in die cast and having a restricted production run of just 500. I think you'll agree that even at this early stage, this looks stunning. Let's head back to Simon now to take us through some more of the 2021 range.
The loco I really want to talk to you about, or locos rather, are the A22s and the A23. These are new liveries for 2021. This is the rebuilt P2, the Earl of Marischal, and the A23 is terrific. It's got a great name called Airborne. I've recently had a review written by Tony Wright, a very well-known author, modeller, and generally all-round good guy, who believes that the A22 is arguably the best ready-to-run locomotive he has ever had the privilege to have reviewed. So that is one heck of an accolade, and we're really, really pleased to receive that sort of endorsement from Tony. We have further evolutions of this particular locomotive. The first is the original casing there, but instead of what one would call a single blast pipe or single chimney, it was actually later fitted with a double blast pipe, a double chimney. So we'll have that variation for 2021. Underneath here we have the BR, late BR W1 with the cutout of the valance on there. However, one of the things that really did appeal to me about this locomotive is when I saw a black and white image of the streamlined version, if you like, the rebuilt version of the W1. And it really struck me, it looked really dynamic in the grey. So as a special run, only a very small run, I've produced it in the non-prototypical grey colour. It never appeared in this, but for me, it is something that I think there's a good number of people out there would like to have one, even though it is non-authentic. The classic, our classic class A1, A3, Gresley's A1, A3. We've really looked at this again in depth because I don't think it hurts for us to revisit existing locomotives. And we felt, well, you know, how can we improve something like this locomotive? Well, one of the things we've wanted to do is add weight, so its pulling power will increase. So it will now have a die-cast footplate, and to give it a little bit of an enhancement, something we added to the Princesses, and that is a flickering firebox. Now we will have introduced 3-4 models of the A1, A3 with this new format. The first one is Knight of the Thistle on there. Doncaster. Now this is Doncaster, which is named after a racehorse rather than the city. And then we'll have a wartime black LNER. This one is called Lamberg. Again, another horse. And of course, the latest variation on Flying Scotsman in the early BR, single chimney or single blast pipe, and no German valances. 50 years ago, Hornby introduced, at the time, a cutting-edge locomotive, Evening Star. This is where they moved away from the traditional XO4 type motor and included a ring-filled motor in the tender. This was cutting edge. We felt it right with such a classic locomotive that we should re-look at that 50 years later and bring the model bang up to date. So what we'll be introducing are 3 9Fs. The first one, as you can see there, is part of the National Collection, the Evening Star. And then we'll have a BR variant and two BR variants, I beg your pardon, one of which will be a coal pusher. So each one has different detail and subtly different changes. So, you know, it isn't one model fits all. There are lots of different changes to make them all individual. It's an exciting development for us, and I've seen the drawings for this, and really, we felt the A22 was good. This is going to be dynamic. Okay. Some years ago, I had a dinner with some guys who said they were going to build a P2. Out of that conversation, we produced the railroad version of the P2 Cock of the North. Their intention is to produce a 7th P2, the 7th P2, 2007, which will be called Prince of Wales. We will be tooling up from scratch, not using any other tooling, but from scratch, a new P2 so we can produce the 2007 Prince of Wales. Now, there are subtle differences between the original P2 design and really what the guys are doing at the A1 Trust. We will cover those changes and produce, as you would expect, a really accurate model. But at the same time, we will also be producing the second of the P2 class, Earl of Marischal, and that will be, again, full of detail, top-end model. Not using anything to do with railroad, this is from scratch. And then we will have Lord President, which was the third, and with the more, what shall I say, the streamlined, the A4 type of casing. But it really is a loco with bells on because it is such a striking model. So next year we'll see 3 new P2 models in different formats. Next year, 2022, the original, or the Prince of Wales locomotive will, with a fair wind and a fair amount of cash, be having its first steaming. That is our aim. So we will have the model ahead of the game. And you can imagine the amount of publicity that will happen during the latter part of 21 through to 22, which will be wrapped around the real steaming of the number 7 P2 Prince of Wales. Part of our 100-year anniversary was to reintroduce the brand name Hornby Dublo. And we did this by producing a model of the Duchess of Atholl as it appeared in 1947, so part of our 100-year celebration. The long-term project was not just to have one loco in that Hornby Dublo. It was to expand the range. So for 2021, we'll be introducing 3 new Hornby Dublo locomotives. City of Leicester in early BR green with smoke deflectors fitted. And then 2 merchant navies, one in early BR markings and the other in the Southern Railway colour schemes. These locomotives are powered by a 5-pole motor. The bodies are die-cast, just like Hornby Dublo. The tenders, again, towards the end of Hornby Dublo, the tenders were plastic, and these will also be produced in plastic. The interesting thing for me is that Hornby Dublo, although they may have intended to produce a merchant navy, never actually did. That was left up to Wren. So we're righting, if you like, a wrong. We're adding to the Hornby Dublo range rather than just trying to emulate what's gone in the past. So be sure Hornby Dublo will continue. Something actually we've been working on for the last 2 or 3 years, and that really is because we've been introducing locomotives which really do date back in history. You know, like a lot of people, you know, we thought, well, we haven't got any rolling stock for them to pull. We're rectifying that this year. Over the last couple of years, we've been focusing on producing some new 4- and 6-wheel coaches, dating back before grouping. What we have here is a full selection of coaches. We have LSWR, LNWR, we have LNER, we have Southern, Great Western, etc. We even have BR. These coaches lasted for decades and kept popping up in all sorts of liveries. Now, what these are generic. So there are subtle differences, and we have done subtle tooling changes and inserts and so on to make, you know, a variety. So you've got some which will have different routes because those will refer to the coaches when they were running on, if you like, gas. Then we have electric, or we have oil. That's the lighting, that is. They're supplied with or without footplates, so it's up to you whether you want to put the footboards on there or not. We also are introducing the new Maglight system. Now, Maglight, and it's available in all the coaches we're introducing, is very straightforward. And basically, Maglight, as you might deduce, is using a magnet to switch on and off the lights, like so. What that is, inside the coaches is a LED strip with a little button battery and a reed switch. And all this does is operate the reed switch. So what are the benefits? Well, first and foremost, if I leave those lights on, that's 200 hours of light you will get, a minimum of 200 hours. Under normal conventional, to get lights or power into the lights in a coach, you have to have a wiper on the axles. Now that can create a tremendous amount of drag. Not so much of an issue with a big Pacific or whatever, if you've got a breaker coaches, but something small like these and a small loco, maybe like the Terrier, could be an issue. And if I've got a whole rake of these, I can have some on, I can have some off, etc. So it really is down to the individual how you want to run it. But it's a really, really good development. Model railways isn't all to do with, if you like, authenticity, etc. There's a huge amount of, if you like, fringe collectors out in the marketplace. And those are the people we obviously need to cater for. And when we introduced the Eurostar Yellow Submarine pack, we were impressed by the number of people who said, well, are you going to be doing other Beetle product? It really came to us, well, we can do that and we can do it quite well. And the market is proven, I believe, to be there. And there are big collectors, both in the UK, of course, and certainly in the US. So we've taken on long wheelbase van and we've given it the album covers of 4 of the Beatles albums. We have Help, Yellow Submarine, Sergeant Pepper on there, and Magical Mystery Tour, which technically speaking was actually an EP. But I believe they did add it as an album as well. But it is an EP. So that's very collectible. And I mentioned earlier about Coca-Cola and how there's a strong following for Coke and Coke branded product by the adult collector. And again, you know, do we always have to buy a set? Are there not individual items? And yes, there are. We have a little 040 locomotive, a tank wagon, and a Coca-Cola refrigerated van. So that's all the new wheeled items. I haven't gone through every single item. I've just picked out the key models that I believe you'll be very interested in. Obviously, you can see the full collection in the latest Hornby catalogue. But for now, I'd like to give my voice a rest, hand over to Montana, who will just run through the new buildings on Skaledale and then onto Railroad.
The range wouldn't be complete without a selection of buildings and accessories, so we are pleased to be introducing a whole host of new buildings and accessories to the 2021 range. We have a whole host of exciting locomotives and rolling stock within our railroad range for 2021. So starting off with the train packs, we've got 2 new train packs here, as you can see, as well as a selection of 040 and 060 steam and diesel locomotives. We also have the A1 Tornado within this range. And then moving on to our diesel locomotives. We've got a really nice split this year, so we've got quite a few TTS Sound locomotives, as well as various Railroad Plus locomotives. So you will be familiar with Railroad Plus, which we introduced last year. These are locos that have a little bit more decoration and detail than the standard Railroad models. As you can see, we've got a really big range this year.
We all have our favourite model, and I'm sure this year will be no different. After delving through all the latest models, I've decided to pick a few that I'm looking forward to the most this year. My first pick is the Class W1 Hush Hush. This range of locomotives are already something to behold, and I know this isn't a real-life livery, but there is something striking about the Hush Hush in grey, giving it an almost monochrome black and white photograph feel. Next up is the P2 Class Prince of Wales 2007. Not only is this a completely new tooling, but is an exciting model because it will be available before the locomotive has even fired up its engines and set out on its first journey. The Stephenson's rocket was so popular last year, and it's easy to see why when you see this tiny locomotive running on a layout. The newest edition pushes that even further with a new carriage, Treasurer, and the inclusion of a Royal Mail wagon. The locomotive is a fantastic one, but for me, I have to say, I love the little man sat on the Royal Mail wagon. It's the little things. This will be a popular model, there is no doubt of that. What's the model that stands out the most for you in this year's range? Let us know in the comments below. Don't forget you can order your Hornby 2021 catalogue, flick through the pages and read all about this year's models. Unfortunately, that's all we've got time for this month, I'm afraid, but don't worry, throughout 2021 we'll be showing you all the development, running samples, close-up looks at our 2021 models, so stay tuned for that. We'll be holding a live Q&A with Simon and Montana, so you can pitch your 2021 range launch questions to them. Stay tuned for more information on that, and if you are watching this after the fact, you can just click up here and you can watch it straight away. This year you helped us reach 30,000 subscribers. We want to take the time to say thank you for supporting the channel, for supporting Signalbox and supporting Hornby. But we want more and more of you to come and join us on this journey. So make sure that if you haven't already, subscribe to our channel and give us a like and a comment, because we love to hear from you. Until next time, as always, I'm Mike, you've been great, and I'll see you at the next stop.